In the 3rd year of our marriage, Lucas fell in love with his secretary. For her, he didn't hesitate to break with his family and abandon his wife and daughter. On the day he left, he knelt all night before his ancestors' memorial tablets and left all the money to me and our daughter. "I'm sorry to you both," he said, "but I can't help it. I love her, and I'm willing to give up everything for her. I won't come back. Family obligations and money only shackle me. Living in a home that has money but no love, that's just my bad luck. If I can't be with the person I love, what's the point of being alive?" I shot him a look, decisively signed the divorce papers, and took every cent. Love that leaks from every seam, riddled with holes, is better not to have at all. At my daughter Zoe's first birthday grabbing ceremony, she ignored all the priceless objects and, trembling a little, stood up to reach for a business-style memoir written by Lucas's father. People around us burst into laughter. An old friend of her grandfather teased, "Looks like this kid will inherit Grandpa's mantle one day." "Yeah, first grab, and she goes straight for the most valuable thing," someone chimed in. Her grandfather's face practically bloomed with joy. He gathered Zoe into his arms and, together with my mother-in-law, teased and cooed at her. Just then, Lucas's aunt smiled, took the not-so-thick book from Zoe's hands and set it on a table off to the side. "Let's see whether the child truly likes the book Grandpa wrote, or if she just grabbed what was closest." I glanced at her and held my tongue. Lucas's aunt had originally wanted to introduce her goddaughter to Lucas. Unfortunately, she overreached. His family flatly refused and chose an alliance with mine instead. She wouldn't dare complain to his family, but she's never liked me. I'd given her too much face in the past, thinking fewer problems were better than more. I didn't expect that today she'd actually choose my daughter's grabbing ceremony to stir the pot. The book had been placed on a table much taller than Zoe. She looked up at it, then turned to her grandfather, confusion in her eyes. Lucas's aunt laughed loudly. "Can't reach it now, can you? You'll have to grow up faster if you want it." I was irritated and about to speak when I saw my daughter stretching hard toward the table. Getting the book was almost impossible. Her raised hands didn't come close to the tabletop. But in the next second, she did something that surprised everyone. She grabbed the handmade antique tablecloth that nearly brushed the floor, took a step back, and yanked. The heavy cloth slid down and the book followed, skimming onto the floor. Zoe giggled, picked up the book, and waddled like a little penguin back into her grandfather's arms. Lucas's aunt stared, dumbfounded. "This kid is pretty clever." "She really is, haha," someone echoed. Her grandfather's face wrinkled with laughter. "My good granddaughter, I adore her. Zoe, let Grandpa take a good look at you." While the crowd was still buzzing, my mother-in-law stood and said to Lucas's aunt, "Why would you make things difficult for a child?" Lucas's aunt flushed scarlet and forced a few perfunctory pleasantries, and the matter was allowed to pass. Lucas and I were standing closer to the edge of the gathering. Most of the people crowding the center were relatives and close friends of both our parents, and the chatter was lively. I was about to leave soon. Lucas stood very close to me. I glanced at him. "Quite an effort for you, huh? Making a special trip to Zoe's grabbing ceremony? Must have cut into time with your lady love." Lucas frowned at me. We stepped out of the guest hall, packed with people, and walked to a quiet spot outside. The old estate was vast, with traditional Chinese garden design everywhere. "You didn't need to talk to me like that just now," he said. "People are prone to changing their hearts. I really do prefer her type." "And what does that have to do with me? Did you need to emphasize it again?" Every extra glance at him grated on me. "If you're so capable, then marry her and be done with it. Don't compare her to me." Lucas said nothing more, his face dark with displeasure. I was just about to turn back when he grabbed my arm. "Sophie, what will it take for you to finally tell our parents that we're getting divorced? The one who did wrong was you. The one who got another woman pregnant was you. Why should I be the one to say goodbye and take all the blame for you?" Lucas gave me a helpless look. "Sophie, you really don't need to drag this out like this. Separating would be better for both of us. Are you really happy staying in this house every day, knowing your husband's heart is with someone else? Why can't we just part peacefully? My company is about to go public, and our two families have billions in cooperation. Why should I ruin things over money? Is money the only thing you see now? I asked coldly. Sophie, you've never lacked money since you were a child. You're the only daughter in your family. Do you really need this little bit of money? Are you blinded by it? Lucas softened his tone, speaking to me politely and reasonably. Our families are about the same level. How could you possibly lack money? Living with peace of mind is what matters most. In truth, Lucas could have been considered a good partner if he hadn't cheated. His family was solid. From childhood, he had gone through prestigious schools without a single setback. He had never tasted hardship. And because life had been so smooth for him these 20-some years, he had a good temper, always polite to everyone. Even when faced with people he disliked, he would offer a few perfunctory words, enough to save face. Maybe because everything was too easy, because there was no challenge, he strayed. Lucas betrayed our marriage while I was pregnant, choosing to be with his secretary instead. Someone who had seemed like a decent man now had only one obsession: bringing his so-called true love into the family. But he couldn't get her in, and he couldn't get me out, unless I was willing to give up everything. I laid it out plainly. If I was leaving, I would take all of his money. His family cared too much about appearances. They didn't have a tradition of divorce. Without my agreement, he would find it nearly impossible to get what he wanted. You really think I'm that shallow? Lucas even smiled faintly. Sophie, money or no money makes little difference to me. I'm not like you or my parents, with eyes only for money. I gave a calm smile. Sophie, think carefully. Don't you feel that in families like ours, the choices are very limited? We don't even have the right to pursue true love. I thought you'd have the courage to rebel, like me. But instead... Lucas sighed. Today, watching Zoe, I couldn't help but feel sorry for her. Even though she was born at the top of the pyramid, with a family background others envy, chances are she won't be happy, because her choices will be too few. Are you kidding me? I drew a deep breath, forcing down my anger. Too few choices? Excuse me, I don't understand what you mean. Lucas, what did you grow up on, You sound so out of touch with reality, it's laughable. You lived in the best hilltop villa from the start, looking down at everything from the heights of Victoria Peak. You ate in restaurants with sweeping views of the harbor. If it weren't for your wealthy parents, your rich family, would you have had any of that? You had the best tutors and experts, planning everything for you. You studied in Switzerland at the most expensive private schools. You went to the Ivy League for college. Yes, I won't deny your own effort played a part. But if your family hadn't been protecting and paving the way for you, Lucas, do you think your life would have been this smooth? I look at you now, and it's ridiculous. You dropped out of an Ivy League school just because you felt like it. You ran off to Northern Europe to start a photography team. When the startup failed, you acted like nothing happened and went straight to applying to another elite university. And you say your choices were limited? Haven't your parents given you more than enough? Do you truly think your life has been miserable? If anyone else, anyone who had to support a family, anyone without such wealth, were in your place, could they have lived this comfortably? I stared at him, finding him more laughable by the second. Tell me, I demanded, was it you who taught Zoe to do that today? Lucas avoided answering directly, changing the subject instead. Hearing his words, my irritation only deepened. Lucas, don't push me. I don't want to ruin Zoe's birthday by fighting with you. I never said you were being manipulative. I just think it's not always a good thing when a child is too clever. If I hear you slandering my daughter again, don't blame me for cutting ties completely. Do you think I could have predicted your aunt would deliberately make things difficult for such a small child? I was standing so far away, how could I possibly whisper across the room to tell her what to do to please her grandfather? And don't forget, Lucas, that book was something your father randomly decided to put out at the last minute. Maybe I was overthinking, he muttered. I apologize. Who needs an idiot's apology? Save your words and think about how you're going to explain all this to your parents. I turned to leave. Halfway out, I glanced back at Lucas. Pathetic. The old estate's atmosphere had remained pleasant throughout the day. His parents had smiles fixed on their faces the whole time. But after the guests were finally gone that evening, Lucas dropped to his knees. Just before a storm, the skies are always strangely calm. Dad, Lucas started. His father's face instantly darkened. I know the disgraceful thing you've done, and I know what you're about to say. Let me warn you, the moment you bring it up, don't blame me for disowning you. Mom, Lucas tried, but my mother-in-law stiffened, then hugged the baby close and sat with me. Don't call me Mom, she said sharply. Lucas lowered his head and fell silent. The quiet between us grew heavy. Then he spoke again. Dad, you should know me by now. Ever since I was a child, whenever I set my mind on something, no one could stop me. Dropping out to start a business, that was what I wanted. Opening a photography studio, that was what I wanted. Going back to school later, that was what I wanted. You disagreed with all of those at first, but even without your approval, I still did them. So if I truly want to do something, you can't stop me. You're threatening me now, is that it? His father's voice wasn't raised, maybe out of fear of startling the child, but it carried unmistakable authority. That's not what I mean, Lucas said. I just want freedom. Lucas was so foolish, it was almost laughable. His father glared at him. It's because I gave you too much freedom that you've kept pushing past the basic boundaries of decency. Do you think you're really so capable, Lucas? Back then, when everyone opposed you dropping out, you ignored them and submitted your application anyway. You left, calling it freedom, and all the messy follow-up had to be handled by the people I sent. You wanted to start a business. I didn't refuse you. I didn't interfere with your dreams the way you claim. All I said was that you were too idealistic, that you shouldn't insist on doing everything exactly your way. At the very least, you needed to think about whether the country where you plan to launch your company could actually support its long-term growth. Did you listen? No, you just bought a ticket and flew off. You had no money, no network, no resources. I had no choice. For the sake of your so-called ideals, I found experienced people to back you. Otherwise, how do you think you so easily secured funding? But despite all my help behind the scenes, you still failed. You called home, complaining that the market environment didn't suit you. Your mother and I urged you not to be so reckless, told you that nothing succeeds overnight. But did you listen? No, you still didn't. His father spoke at length. Lucas's face grew red with anger. I never needed your help. Even without everything you did, I would have tried. You and Mom are always like this, always guilt-tripping me. You say you just want to help, but really you're interfering in my life. Years later, when I had achieved nothing, he turned around and blamed me, saying how much he had helped me behind the scenes. Fine, his father sneered. So according to you, everything in the past was our fault? That we had nothing better to do than meddle? Then what about now? You want a divorce, such a huge decision, and you made it all on your own. Does that make you proud? I'm still young, Lucas retorted. Why shouldn't I be allowed to do what I want? What you want is to betray your vows and have an affair? Then I'd rather you'd never been born. But what use is it to say that now? I'm just stating a reasonable request. Is there any law that says marriage can't end in divorce? I don't want anything. Will that satisfy you? Lucas turned and knelt before me. Sophie, I don't want anything. I'll leave everything in this house to you and our daughter. Every last bit. Please, just let me go. I looked at him. I no longer felt the hysteria and despair I'd had when I first learned the truth. I asked him calmly, before we got married 3 years ago, did you already know her? Did you already like her? I just thought she was special. You thought she was special. Then why didn't you chase her back then? Why drag me into this? If she was always in your heart, why did you agree to marry me? Why didn't you say anything when we first met? Why didn't you speak up when we got engaged? Why agree when both our families arranged the marriage? Is your freedom the only freedom that matters, and everyone else is just a joke? Sophie, you never loved me that much either, he said quietly. So why are you reacting like this? Our marriage was an alliance between families. We could have ended it peacefully. Why demand all these answers? Is it only because my cheating embarrassed you? Lucas, I said, my voice rising, what makes you think I didn't love you? If I didn't love you, why would I have been with you at all? Lucas sighed. But shouldn't you at least ask whether I even wanted that love? People are fickle in matters of the heart. I want to be with the person I truly love. You can go find your true love too. No one is stopping you. He shook his head. I really don't understand you. Sophie, you've never lacked anything since you were born. You've never lacked money, never lacked love. Why do you treat love and marriage as if they're everything? Can't you just let go? Suddenly, Zoe burst out crying. So what now? I asked coldly. You don't even want your daughter anymore. She's pregnant, Lucas said. I'll have other children. My mother-in-law rose with the baby in her arms. Get up. Stop kneeling. None of us can bear it. From now on, we'll consider you no longer our son. Lucas lifted his head. Please don't be angry. Let's talk this through calmly. You don't need to keep singing the praises of your so-called love while insulting me over and over. I cut him off. I agree to the divorce. Are you satisfied now? As I spoke, his father stood as well. Your mother and I should have seen reality long ago. A person like you, who has abandoned even the most basic principles, can't be expected to inherit this family or carry on the Song legacy. Since all you want is freedom, then be prepared to hand back everything this family has ever given you. I can sign an agreement, Lucas said quickly. I'll transfer all my money, properties, and the shares you gave me into Zoe's name. No need, his father interrupted sharply. Since you've decided to cut ties with this family, those things have nothing to do with you anymore. You have no right to decide. I'll reclaim everything you hold here and redistribute it. Those assets will go to Sophie and the child, not through any agreement you write. Otherwise, what if one day you try to take them back? Should Sophie and the baby have to suffer your harassment then? I took Zoe from my mother-in-law's arms, intending to soothe her to sleep. Lucas rose and walked toward the ancestral hall where the family memorial tablets were kept. From this moment on, he was no longer a member of this family. He wasn't even qualified to step into the ancestral hall to kneel and beg for peace of mind. You don't need to be so aggressive, Lucas said. If you truly don't want to see me again, I won't come back. But after all, I'm still your only son. If one day you need someone to care for you in old age, I'll take that responsibility. We don't need you, his father replied coldly. We have a granddaughter. What use are you? Since you've said this much, then I hope you follow through. When you hit walls everywhere in the future, don't come back begging us. Don't even think about the money your mother and I will leave to Sophie and Zoe. You're overthinking it, Lucas said with a laugh. Only businessmen like you have the stench of copper on their lips, talking of nothing but money. You pride yourself on being a responsible father, but the only thing you ever provided me was money. And because I spent your money, you interfered in every part of my life. I'd rather not have your money at all. Living in a family where there's only money and no love, that's just my misfortune. With that, Lucas walked away. I kept questioning my own judgment of people. Clearly, there was something wrong with my eyes. How else had I failed to see he was a fool from the very beginning? My daughter, probably because she had just cried, was now wide awake, bubbling with energy and refusing to sleep, no matter how I tried to soothe her. Then I heard a knock at the door. Holding her in my arms, I opened it to see Lucas's parents standing outside. Sophie, his mother said, your father-in-law and I have discussed this. Our families live close, and we've been friends with your parents for many years. It's our fault we didn't raise our son well. If you're willing, once you divorce that disgrace, we'd like to recognize you as our goddaughter. From then on, all of the Song family's wealth will belong to you and your child. That unfilial son of ours has no sense, but we know you're a good girl, capable, and with business acumen. And Zoe is already so clever, even as a baby. Entrusting the Song family to you both puts our minds at ease. His mother added softly, Sophie, I truly like you from the bottom of my heart. You're loyal, principled, and good in every way. It's Lucas who doesn't deserve you. If you agree, we can meet with your parents, the adults from both families, and make everything official. If you don't, we won't force you. But the money will still go to you and the child. Your father-in-law and I can guarantee that Lucas won't get a single cent in the future. I looked down at my daughter in my arms, happily blowing little bubbles. She had lost the right to a humble, ordinary life at such a young age, but she had gained happiness. How could I refuse? Lucas had always been efficient. And it was obvious he was eager to finalize the divorce as quickly as possible. Early the next morning, He was already sitting in the living room waiting for me. I had someone print out the divorce agreement. If there aren't any problems, then sign it, I said. Are there problems? He asked, sitting across from me, puzzled when he saw I hadn't even glanced at the papers he had set out earlier. Of course there are problems. I leaned back in my seat, making sure I was as comfortable and relaxed as possible. Why are you sitting on my couch? Lucas froze. Don't be ridiculous, Sophie. This is my house. Not for much longer, I smiled faintly. No matter what, this is my home now. My parents may be furious with me, but that doesn't change the fact that I'm their only daughter. There's no need to keep stressing that you're a man, I said, looking at him coldly. We're all just people here. Lucas glanced at me but didn't respond. He stood, and in the next second, suddenly dropped to his knees. The thud startled me. He tried to get up, but couldn't. I didn't realize you liked kneeling before others so much, I mocked. My legs are bruised from kneeling all last night, he muttered. My legs are still numb. What's wrong with me sitting here a while? Do you really have to torment me like this? Didn't you hear what my parents said yesterday? This house belongs to me and Zoe now. You actually believed them? Lucas sneered. Sophie, I finally see you clearly. The way you're grabbing at things is downright ugly. Do you really think my parents dare hand over such a huge family business to you? And you actually dare take it? You really don't see yourself as an outsider, do you? Oh, so you finally managed to get up off the floor, I said flatly. Pathetic. Lucas braced himself against the edge of the sofa, hunching as he stood. Zoe is a girl, after all. Don't tell me you really believe that once my parents are gone, you and Zoe have the ability to manage an empire this large? I shot him a glance. Didn't expect you to be so feudal-minded. Not giving him the chance to continue, I pressed on. Let me tell you something, Lucas. I have a strong sense of entitlement. If your parents want to give me something, I'll take it without hesitation. I'll never feel guilty about it, and I don't waste time tearing myself down. So there's no need for you to keep harping on about your relationship with your parents. No one denies you're their son. But you're the one who wanted it all and still managed to blow everything up. That's your stupidity, not mine. Why shouldn't I accept what they give me? Isn't Zoe their granddaughter too? Lucas, don't tell me you expect me to give up everything, walk out with nothing but my child, and leave here empty-handed. Don't be absurd. I want my daughter, I want the money, I want your parents' support. From beginning to end, you're the one being cast out like trash. You don't need my family's money anyway, he shot back. Even if you walked away with nothing, you'd still be able to give yourself and Zoe a wealthy life. Not everyone is as twisted as you, counting every coin. Who in this world complains about having too much money? Certainly not me. You're right about one thing, I said calmly. I don't lack money. My family is just as rich as yours, and my parents only have me. But just because I'm wealthy, doesn't mean I should give up what I'm entitled to. Why shouldn't I fight for my rights? Then it's a pity for Zoe, he said bitterly. Having a mother who's so obsessed with money. Sorry, I cut him off coldly, but I won't accept baseless slander. With a mother like me, no one in this world will be happier than Zoe. She'll have a clear mind and endless wealth. She'll have countless paths to succeed. From the moment she was born, she had two families' fortunes and connections behind her. She can do anything she wants, so long as it doesn't violate morality or law, because she'll have infinite chances to fail and still be fine. Her family has the power and resources to pave any road she chooses. She can live joyfully, pursue whatever dream she wants. That's just what you think, Lucas argued. How do you know what Zoe truly wants is all of that? Go out on the street and ask random people if they'd like to live her life. You think they wouldn't be interested? Sophie, do you know why I don't love you? Because you're just like my parents. Money is all you see. Is that so? Then I should thank you, I said with a faint smile. Thank you for showing me your true face so early, before I wasted my whole life on you. You're too idealistic, he said sharply. Even if you throw endless resources at Zoe, how can you guarantee she'll grow into someone outstanding? You're so calculating, Sophie. What if your child ends up ordinary? Will you be able to accept it? I laughed scornfully, no longer even bothering to take him seriously. Whatever makes you feel better, Lucas. She's my daughter. Do you really think she needs to struggle? She was born to live in comfort, and even if she chooses to be a baker one day, she'll be the happiest baker in the world. Her personality will be whole and unique. You're not worried she'll be damaged growing up in a single-parent home? You're overthinking it, I replied, rising to my feet. Having a father like you is the real stain on her life. Without you, she'll be better off. Honestly, as I thought it over, I almost laughed. Lucas, if you truly lived in a wealthy family and were unhappy every day, I could at least understand why you'd want to throw it all away. But this? I shook my head. You're nothing but ridiculous. Tell me, living in a family like this, are you really unhappy? On one hand, you sneer at money, look down on your parents' wealth, and on the other hand, you indulge in every convenience your family provides. That includes, but isn't limited to, the funding and connections your parents gave you. For the first 28 years of your life, because of their power, you enjoyed the respect and admiration of others. Even now, you're dressed in a custom-made foreign suit, wearing cufflinks and a watch worth millions. Haven't you benefited from what money brought you? You enjoy every privilege, yet you pretend to scorn it. Don't you think you're a hypocrite? Lucas stayed silent for a long time. Just as I was ready to order him out, he suddenly said, I'm sorry to you and to our daughter, but I can't help it. I love her, and I'm willing to give up everything for her. You don't need to stress that again. I don't care how much you love that woman, it has nothing to do with me. I already suffered when I discovered your betrayal while I was pregnant. I was in my final trimester, and yet you betrayed me without hesitation. You never considered what would happen if I found out. You never thought about whether something might go wrong. For that alone, you deserve what's coming. I'm not generous or forgiving. You broke our vows first, you betrayed our marriage, so the one who should walk away with nothing is you. The one who should live out the rest of his life in misery is you. Every action has its consequence. You were born in comfort but insisted on planting your own bitter seeds. Now you can reap the fruit of your own making. You brought this on yourself. No one else is to blame. I won't be back, Lucas went on as if he hadn't heard me. Family obligations and wealth only tie me down. Good, I said coldly. Then I should thank you. I hope you mean it. The farther you go, the better. And never come back. As long as you stay gone, everything in the Song family will belong to Zoe. If I can't be with the person I love, then what's the point of living? He muttered. Get out, I snapped. I was done listening. I'd already endured this for more than a year, more than enough. Long before Zoe was born, when I discovered Lucas had gotten involved with his secretary, I'd thought about divorce. But after considering carefully, I realized it wasn't worth it. Even if Lucas was in the wrong, the most I could get at that time was half of what was in his name. Because his parents weren't about to hand the family fortune to him while he was still so young, he didn't actually can control much yet. And for my daughter, having grandparents who doted on her and could pave her way wasn't a bad thing. That's why I didn't file for divorce immediately. It wasn't that I lacked money, but I wasn't about to give up what I could so easily reach out and take. No one thinks they already have enough, especially not when it comes to money. Besides, if I had pushed for divorce back then, his parents wouldn't have stopped me. And that would have only made things easier for Lucas and that woman. They were the ones who sinned, so why should I be the one to flee with my daughter as if I were guilty? Everything that belongs to Zoe will remain hers, and I'll make sure she gets it back. Over the past year, Lucas's mistress, Emily, had tried more than once to provoke me. I never caused a scene. Instead, I deliberately let my mother-in-law see the messages on my phone. She couldn't possibly fail to understand. Even the slightest clue, with her influence and connections, was enough for her to piece everything together and track that woman down. She had confronted Emily before. But Emily was greedy. What she wanted was to marry into the Song family. How could she possibly give up on Lucas just because his mother warned and threatened her? Instead, she only became more reckless, trying to drag me into the mess to create a scandal. The suggestive photos she mailed to the estate, I never looked at them, just let them pile up. After a while, the housekeeper or one of the maids would naturally bring them to Lucas's parents. As for the emails Emily later sent, those I opened. Then I added fuel to the fire. changing the IP address, resending things under his name directly to his parents. With enough money, you can find any kind of technician you need. Lucas's mother had privately warned him before, but he had always been headstrong, never changing his mind for anyone. Patience, however, is something that runs out. One day, even his parents would grow tired of him, and tired of this whole mess. And when Lucas's so-called love for that woman reached its peak, he would be the one to bring up divorce. The moment he put everything on the table, his path would be cut off. That's why his parents had been so furious yesterday. Zoe had already been living at the old estate for a year. His parents liked to be hands-on with everything about her. Once you pour effort into something, you only value it more. On one hand, there was a granddaughter, young and promising, worth raising well. On the other, a son's wife who had already been discarded. The choice was obvious. Lucas's parents were never the type of feudal elders who valued sons over daughters. Building a family legacy is hard, and keeping it is even harder. What they needed was always just a capable heir. When all the divorce procedures were completed, I looked at the freshly printed certificate, tucked it into my bag, and walked out. Waiting to pick Lucas up was Emily. She stepped out of the car with a tired face. Clearly she hadn't slept well last night. His parents had always meant what they said. They moved quickly to reclaim everything they had once given him. By last night, even his last remaining property, a hilltop villa, had been taken back. I heard he had been thrown out in the middle of the night. Where the two of them spent the rest of the night was their own problem. Judging from the LV bag in her hand and the Chanel scarf around her neck, both were probably bought with Lucas's money. Every cent he spent, I would make him spit back out, including the car they were standing beside now. I walked toward her, but Lucas stepped in front of me. "Sophie, what are you doing? We're already divorced. You have no right to interfere in my business anymore." Emily stepped back nervously. I gave a mocking laugh, grabbed her, and hissed, "Weren't you arrogant when you sent me those private videos of you and Lucas that caused my premature labor? Didn't you come strutting into the hospital just to tell me you hoped my daughter wouldn't live to grow up?" I didn't give her a chance to breathe. I slapped her hard across the face, twice. "That's a gift. You're welcome." Bookmark back. Lucas froze in shock. "Impossible. Sophie, what are you saying? Emily could never do something like that. How could you two have even met before?" I didn't spare him. I turned and slapped him twice as well. When you should have stood up, you stayed silent. And when you should have shut your mouth, you wouldn't stop talking. You call it true love. What a joke. You're nothing but a fool. You think I made it up? I shot him a cold look. If it were false, you wouldn't be falling this fast. I've never wronged myself, and I'm not the type to suffer in silence. If Emily dares to do something, I guarantee your parents will know by the next day. I don't have to say it myself. There are plenty of other ways for them to find out. Every move the two of you make only digs your own grave. In this world, there's no cheapest man, only men who can be even cheaper. I glanced at Emily clutching her bag with white knuckles. "Congratulations, you picked one of the cheapest. You've chosen a broke loser. And that's because I let him go to you. No need to thank me." I got into the luxury car waiting at my side, shut the window, and took the phone my assistant handed me. "How many camera positions nearby?" I asked. 28, my assistant replied. "We set up 28 in total, every angle covered." "Good. When we get back, pick a few people from the PR department and form a temporary team. From now on, they'll handle generating news about me. Let the company gain traffic. As for Lucas and his mistress, losing every shred of reputation they have is exactly what they deserve." I had said it before, and I meant it. I've always liked win-win outcomes. But anyone who's ever hurt me, I'll make sure they're ruined. 28 is a good number. It just happens to be my age this year. I picked up my phone and casually wired $500,000 to my 3 personal assistants. Congratulations, I told myself, on becoming a billionaire woman. Perhaps because life had always been so easy, with no real troubles, the years slipped by quickly. The next time I heard Lucas's name, Zoe had just won a gold medal in an international physics competition. In the car, Zoe clung to me. "My dearest mom, since I'm so thoughtful and excellent, and since tomorrow's my 15th birthday, Could you please, please, please do my calculus homework tonight? What are you planning to do instead? I asked, pulling her favorite drink from my bag. Nothing serious, she said with a grin. Some of my friends insist on going to the racetrack this afternoon. That's my specialty. This afternoon, I'll definitely be the center of attention. Don't make me laugh, I said, shaking my head. Mom, Zoe hugged my neck tightly. I'll always be your little puppy. I gave in with a sigh. You're such a spoiled princess. How old are you now, still acting this way? I told the driver to change direction. I'm going back to the old estate for lunch. Do you want to come with me, or should I have someone take you straight to the racetrack? Zoe looked down at her medal, a mischievous smile tugging at her lips. I kind of feel like bragging today. I'll go to the estate with you first. When we arrived, her grandparents were already waiting at the gates. Zoe waved her gold medal around proudly, her expression full of mischief. I'm ready, Grandpa, Grandma, you've got 10 minutes. Go ahead and shower me with praise. My mother-in-law laughed. At 15, Zoe was already 5'9", taller than her grandmother. Come eat first, she said, smiling. We'll praise you all you want afterward. Not so fast, Grandma. Why don't you show me your sincerity by helping me with my English homework today? Please, please. Let your grandfather do it, she teased. He has a meeting this afternoon. He can look at your homework while he's at it. Actually, that's a pretty good idea, Zoe said, smirking. She had inherited my competitive nature, always striving to be better. Her interests were endless. Soccer, skiing, surfing, climbing, horseback riding, golf, anything that required skill, she loved, and she relished showing off in front of her friends. She had also chosen on her own to study piano, chess, calligraphy, and painting. She loved learning, wanting to try everything, even if she didn't master them all. As she often said, boasting and showing off are the ladders of human progress. You don't need to know everything, but at the right moment, you should be able to fake it well enough to play the part of an elite. When I walked in, Zoe was drinking water while gushing. Grandma, you're amazing. I love you so much, do you know that? You've completely satisfied my vanity with all your praise. I'm touched to tears. You've flattered me so much, I feel like a queen. Her grandparents had grown used to her constant stream of internet slang, and they only smiled. Grandpa, do you know how lucky you are? Having a granddaughter as wonderful as me. Next time you visit our ancestors' graves during Qingming, make sure to check if there's smoke rising from them. How else could you have ended up with such a perfect granddaughter? While Zoe continued bragging, the butler entered. Lucas has returned, he announced. Such an old, distant name. It had been so long since I'd even thought of him. Over the years, of course, we hadn't been completely ignorant of his situation. When Lucas still had money, he was always talking about poetry and distant horizons. People liked listening because he had his parents shine behind him. Even if he just stood in a room doing nothing, others would flock to support him. But after his parents publicly disowned him, everything changed. He became worthless, a penniless nobody. Naturally. No one was willing to be tolerant with him anymore. First of all, he didn't have much ability. Even with his degrees, he never managed to find a decent job. Worse, his reputation was ruined. Any company with real strength wouldn't even consider him. And then, he couldn't afford luxury handbags or watches anymore. Nor could he keep up with Emily's extravagant lifestyle. When Emily finally realized Lucas was nothing but a penniless loser, she fought with him constantly, cursing him outright. Lucas eventually broke down, and that was only the beginning. Soon after, Emily decisively aborted the child and went on to become the mistress of a wealthy, powerful businessman. That was when Lucas was forced to face reality. Alone, broke, his days were miserable. At least he never came to disturb my comfortable life, or rather, he tried, but before he ever made it to see his parents, he was kicked out. He couldn't get into the company or the old estate. The only reason Lucas came back this time was because he was sick, something incurable. He just wanted to see his family one last year. In the living room, my mother-in-law sat across from him without saying a word. Later, she pulled me upstairs, holding my hand and whispered, "It's awkward. I don't even know what to say to him. After so many years, there really aren't any feelings left." I didn't respond. Lucas, on the other hand, was excited to see Zoe, trying repeatedly to talk to her. But Zoe wanted nothing to do with him. To avoid him, she tagged along with her grandfather or me to the company whenever she could. When she heard he wanted to take her to school, she refused to go at all. "You're so spoiled," Lucas scolded. "What's the point of acting this way?" "So you don't want to go to school, big deal? Didn't I drop out once too? Can you not talk like your mother, so sarcastic all the time?" Lucas stood in the doorway, looking old and worn, while I still looked youthful thanks to wealth and security. "You've done every terrible thing imaginable, and you still expect me to treat you well? If you hadn't suddenly come back, we'd be strangers. Honestly, we barely saw each other even when you were around." "Do you always talk like this?" he snapped. "Don't you have any manners? Even if life's been smooth for you, that doesn't give you the right to act superior. What makes us so different? Don't forget, I'm your father." "Of course there's a difference," Zoe said calmly, not looking up from her Sudoku. "My starting point in life is a little better than yours." "What's that supposed to mean?" "Don't get me wrong," Zoe said evenly. "I don't mean I'm smarter than you or have higher IQ or EQ. I mean I have a capable father who raised me well. My biological father, on the other hand, isn't the same." "Don't just insult me," Lucas snapped. "You've never even been raised by me, so what authority do you have to say anything? You're just a kid and already this cruel. Stop trying to lecture people. Stop pretending you know better than everyone. Who doesn't understand life better than you?" Seeing no one in the family truly wanted to engage with him, Lucas broke down and shouted at me. "Sophie, do you really think your life has been such a success?" "And you?" I shot back. "Do you think success looks like you? You've only ever cared about money." "Well, that's still better than having none. And looking at you now, clearly you've failed miserably." "Zoe, you're so rude. Kids from single-parent families always end up with flaws in their character." But Zoe didn't get upset. Her voice was steady. "I love Mom and Grandpa and Grandma. They give me both money and love. They're open-minded and they spoil me. Not everyone has these blessings, and I treasure them. The only one who finds fault is you. Zoe, one day you'll understand. Money isn't the most important thing in this world. Ask yourselves honestly, are you truly happy?" Lucas tried to coax Zoe patiently, but she only ended up choking on her own saliva and burst out laughing. "You think I'm not living a good life already? My life's road is a Maybach. My destined obstacle is a Porsche. The hardest thing I've ever had to endure is an iced latte. Isn't that happiness enough?" Her pen scratched rapidly across the Sudoku grid, pages rustling, her pencil spinning between her fingers. "Don't pay attention to him," I said flatly. "He's just sick in the head." I stepped forward, but Zoe waved me off. "Relax, Mom, Dad. My emotions are steadier than a capybara's." I signaled to the butler to show Lucas out. Since nothing could cure him, he might as well stop talking and spare everyone the noise. As for forgiving him, that was impossible. But when he was gone one day, maybe I could scatter his ashes for him. After all, hadn't he always claimed to love freedom?